what's happening, everybody? Welcome to GWR Gonzo'S Wrestling Room. Monday, March 13th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
We're also joined by Marcus Fine. How's it going, Marcus?
Doing all right.
Doubt, I'll let you go ahead and get started, and I'll check sound and do all that stuff.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and we'll start off with our recap of the weekly shows that happened here real quick. WWE had a lot of stuff going on this weekend, especially with Raw and
Hi, Kelly.
and SmackDown. On Raw, which was a real good show this week, probably the best show of the week. The ending was outstanding. They had Jimmy Uso in the ring, and after a match, and Jey Uso came out, and Sammy had just beat Jimmy, and he's outside the ring. Well, then Jey gets in the ring and makes it seem like that he's leaving Jey, and he goes out to the ring, hugs Sammy, and they're throwing up the ones, and then the crowd's going crazy. I mean, they're going berserk, and then out of nowhere, he super kicks Sammy, and the crowd was crushed. It was pretty good. And then they proceeded to beat the crap out of Sammy, and then Cody Rhodes came out and saved Sammy. And they're trying to tie that in with Cody and Sammy, so they're doing a pretty good job there. Also, earlier in the show, you've seen Cody talking to Kevin Owens in the background and trying to convince Kevin Owens to help out Sammy. So you can see that being tied together. Logan Paul confronted Seth Rollins, and there's now going to be a match at WrestleMania, which we all expected. They're doing a pretty good job with that. John Cena and Austin Theory had a confrontation, and now there's going to be a match at WrestleMania, which we expected. So they're starting to get everything put together for the WrestleMania. On SmackDown on Friday, they had a fatal five-way with Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Karrion Kross, LA Knight, and Xavier Woods to crown a contender for WrestleMania to go up against Gunther. Well, somehow there ended up being two referees out there, and Drew and Sheamus both pinned the guy. So there was a double pin. So it's coming up on SmackDown. They're going to have a match to decide who's going to go against him. They surprised everybody on the show with announcing that Rey Mysterio was going into the Hall of Fame. And they did a real good job of tying that into the storyline. Rey came out to do a speech, and of course, Dominic came out and interrupted and was abusing Rey, and Rey wouldn't fight back. Well, Legado del Fantasma came out and to help Rey, and ended up being a six-man match with Rey on the sidelines and everything. With Legado and them took the loss to the Judgment Day, with Dom getting the pin. Well, then Dom asked Rey to get back in the ring, just them two, and he starts abusing him again. And there was another big kind of melee again. So definitely building for Dom and Rey at WrestleMania, I believe. I did see a lot of hate on the internet for them putting Rey in and him still wrestling. And I don't understand that. Marcus, do you get that?
It's always been a rule. I thought that if you was an active wrestler, you wasn't even considered.
Well, Flair wrestled his last match. Well, supposedly
400 times. So I mean,
supposedly it was his last match. And now, of course, Edge came back and was wrestling, but he did retire and was gone for 9 years. But and this may be Rey's last match. I think Rey's had a lot of health issues, a lot of injuries. So maybe they're going to end up announcing his last match.
It could be.
So I'm not sure it may be where it's if he loses to Dom, he's done. So who knows what the plans are. But that was pretty much SmackDown. NXT was a strong show this week. Nothing major happened. It was a good show. One other thing I wanted to touch on real quick before I forget, because it's on this paper. I didn't know if you've seen this or not, guys, but believe it or not, who would ever thought Florida Championship Wrestling from Florida is coming back. Ran by Kevin Sullivan, Gangrel, and Bill Alfonso.
Are they going to be WWE training like they were?
I don't think anything to do with WWE. They're starting a territory in Florida.
And they'll do well. Florida's a hotbed. I've always heard Florida's a hotbed.
They even said Goldberg was active in WWE and he was inducted.
That's true. I kind of forgot about that.
I mean, to me, it's not a big deal because he's going to get in. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody knows he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And, hey, that's one thing we forgot. I'll get it. Go ahead.
What are you talking about? Oh, the light. Okay. Also, next thing was
I wonder why it looked kind of dark.
Okay. AEW this week. I think Chris was too. I was encouraged by the pay-per-view last week. And then I watched AEW this week and my encouragement left. Wardlow won the belt on the pay-per-view. I thought, well, hey, man, they're finally going to do something with this guy. He was one of the hottest guys they had at one time. And he proceeded to lose the belt 3 days later. And I just don't get it. I don't understand. Now it looks like they're turning Moxley bad guy. I don't know if that's the right move or not. As popular as he is, I don't know if the fans will boo him. Anyway, the women's match. Just the women's thing that they're trying to do. They're redoing the NWO angle. They're spray painting people. Now they're calling themselves the Outcast instead of the Outsiders. I just don't like it. So they took a step back from me. Next, we was going to maybe go over our.
Let's see. Mark Brinkman said that is great. Shows the strength of the overall business right now. The fans are the ones that win with them coming back to Florida. And he says, I really don't understand the hot and cold with Wardlow.
I don't either, man. I thought they had the next big star with Wardlow. And it was a homegrown guy that they really homegrown, not somebody that came from another federation. I mean, he really homegrown, and what they're doing just don't make sense. Next, I was going to do our independent stuff. Marcus, if you wanted to do the shows that you went to this weekend.
All right. It was a triple shot for Kelly and I. Was at the Dub Friday night. I'll just touch base on a few of the matches that took place. They're doing a number one contender match for Dalton Love's Outlaw Championship. Luke Savage defeated Dutch Boy Platinum in the opener, and Hidari defeated JB. So I'm guessing sometime down the line, Luke Savage and Hidari will be fighting each other for the Outlaw title, number one contendership. And then Dalton Love, and I was surprised they even made this a match, but Dalton Love defeated Tom Van Zant to retain his title. And you got heel versus heel, but when it was all over, Tom Van Zant grabbed the mic, shook Dalton's hand, says, "You're the champ. You're our champ." And I don't know if he passed the torch, but it was kind of it was a very well put speech that, here's the future. I'm no longer the future, but here's your future. So it was very well done. And I heard Dalton and Luke won the tag belts at the Kokomo show or the Muncie show over the weekend.
Really?
IPW or whatever. So I think Savage Love is the tag champs for, what is that, IPW or?
Yeah.
I knew they had won a belt in Michigan together here last weekend.
Yeah, I saw a post, I think, earlier today with some belts. So I figured they might have won.
I thought it might have been the Michigan belts because I thought that one tag team won the IPW.
It could have been. I just seen them with belts and I knew they wrecked this weekend. So
yep,
I'll have to look into that. But then we went to New Generation Wrestling in Burnettsville. TK0, which is the Hoosierweight champion, defeated Ricky Guns in his first singles match. I had to kind of agree. It looked like a chokehold. Ricky Guns submitted, but it looked like a chokehold. And okay, I just seen him with belts. I just assumed. So I guess
I think that was the ones that they won last week.
Yeah, I think that was one the weekend before. I think if I remember right, it was in Michigan.
Yeah, it was in Michigan.
Yep.
Okay. So TK0 beat Ricky Guns by submission, but like I said, it looked like a chokehold. Shooting Shane's at ringside yelling it's a chokehold, so we don't know where that's going. Jesse and Buck defeated the Sanji brothers to retain the tag titles. And Jason Levi defeated Jackson Morgan in a very hard-hitting match. Those guys held nothing back. They were beating the daylights out of each other. And when it was all over, Jason Levi rolled out of the ring onto the floor. Morgan's still in the ring, and he's just sitting there. I mean, you could tell it just wore those guys out, and people are leaving, and those guys are just laying there. And I don't think it was part of the act. Wrong word, but it wasn't part of it. I think they really wore each other out. I mean, it was hard hitting bad. I mean, they were really beating on each other. And then Sunday, we went back over to Danville, Illinois for their first show of the year. Some of the matches over there, Jacques Kennedy defeated Cameron Saturn for the 0-1 Shining Light Championship. I'm guessing that's like a cruiserweight title. And both those guys are real skinny, so I'm guessing that's what that is. But then you had Austin Ryan and Devin Quinn. They defeated Stetson Winters and Tyler Scott. And then Kendall Fry defeated Aaron Atlas, and then they all got into it at the end. So next month it's going to be 3-on-3. Let's see. Friday night they had probably 3/4 full. Bernardsville, Poffo said there was 100. I'm thinking there was more than 100. There was a bunch of people there. And they drew probably 50 yesterday.
Okay.
So with all the with everything going on,
what was your match of the weekend that you seen?
Well, I would have to say Jason Levi and Jackson Morgan, because those guys are just beating the hell out of each other.
I imagine.
I mean, they were. It had to be stiff. Those guys are. You can hear those. You know how when they do chest chops, or they hit them in the back, and you get that ooh sound like hollow. You hear a lot of that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Jackson's physical anyway, and Levi can definitely be physical. So that don't surprise me, man.
Yeah, those guys. It was fantastic. So. And that's the 3 shows we went to very well.
I think I heard you correct. Well, I don't know if he was counting Sunday or not, but did you say you've been to 15 shows already?
Let's see. Yesterday was 17.
17, okay. Because
14,
when he was talking
15, 16, 17, yeah. 17 was yesterday.
Yep. Oh yeah. I watched your Shooting with Shane. And
we knew we was only we didn't even scratch the surface.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, actually, Shane says 3-parter. I can't see it in a 3-parter. I could see it taking place over the summer, and we'll just hit venues that we're at. I think that's where we're going, that we're going to be live on. Here we are here we are here. So, but yeah, 17 shows this year, and it was we got a lot to hit.
Yeah. I got one, I don't want to be mean. I got one little criticism. The sound.
Well, you know why the sound?
It's because there's so many people coming in.
Because, I think they got lost coming over. I could be wrong.
We're going to try to do it earlier.
And, we were supposed to do it 4 o'clock, and he didn't get there till right as the doors opened. So I think they got lost, because you've not been to Bernardsville, but that's easy to happen. I mean, it's out there. It was funny because Buck Sexton come up to me and he says, "Well, how many people's going to draw in this place? Because it's out in the middle of nowhere." And I made a joke. I says, "Well, when the bell rings, you see the house across the street. All those people will be over here in a minute." I said, "No, you'll pull 100," and they pulled 100.
Yeah,
they were hot. It was a hot crowd.
No, I'm trying to watch the interview, and it's not very loud, and I keep turning up my TV, and my wife's getting ready to go to work, and my grandson's asleep, and she said, "You need to turn down TV," and I'm trying to hear, and
yeah, it was loud because they had opened the doors and the fans had walked in there, and so hopefully we'll go do it at the ACW. So
get it done earlier. Yeah, I liked what I heard. Okay, Chris, we can do what we seen this weekend. WTF, Wrestle Splash in Fortville, Indiana. I thought it was a real good show, man. Some of the highlights for me, of course, the main event, Brian Pillman Jr. versus Apollo Star. Apollo Star, Marks, he's been around at least 15 years or more.
Quite a while, yeah.
Yeah, and outstanding. It was a really, really good match. and actually shocked a little bit. Apollo Star got the victory through tap out. He tapped out,
Really?
and that
Wow.
really surprised me.
That, but
Yeah,
that
really surprised me. But yeah, really good match.
It was a real good match.
Had also that was for the WTF championship. Apollo Star's a champion. Then we had the Space Cowboy taking on Adam Gorgeous, and for the United States title, Space Cowboy was a champion, and he lost his belt to the Adam Gorgeous with a little bit of help from Dylan Cole. Dylan Cole come out with a kendo stick and give a little bit of help to Adam Gorgeous. So, but we have a new champion there.
I'll tell you what, there was some fans got mad.
Yeah, some fans got mad and left.
And this is a co-main event, so they left right before Pillman Jr. to Paul
because of the Space Cowboy losing.
Yeah,
he's got a big following, so I can see that.
The Space Cowboy left, and I said we lost what 20, 25 people.
Probably.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Wow.
Yeah, people weren't happy.
Marks, I've seen one of the best women's matches I've seen at an independent show. Ari Alexander and Holly Hood Haley J put on one heck of a match. It was really good, really well put together. And the thing about that is, I told Chris I was going to tell you about this. We get there early and we're setting up. Well, Brian Pillman's in the ring with Ari Alexander, and I seen they're going through a match. And I'm saying, why are they going through a match? I said, they're not. I said, I don't think they're wrestling each other. But, I was watching them. Well, then Holly Hood Haley J got there, and then I see her get in the ring, and they're just talking and going over a few things. Ari Alexander and Brian Pillman Jr. They did the match pretty much move for move that Brian Pillman and Ari Alexander was working in the ring.
Wow.
Holly Hood, I mean, pretty much everything that I seen that them two were doing together, that's what Holly Hood and Ari Alexander did. It was real interesting to see that. I also got to see a mess up, but Holly Hood saved it. She was supposed to get her coat, which they put up on, and the ring was really high.
The ring was high.
I mean, I don't know why the ring was so high, but she put her coat.
She was running around the ring,
and she had her coat on top of the ring post. Well, she couldn't get it off because it was so high. She couldn't pull it off. She was going to have to lift it up, and she wasn't. So very smart. She went around the ring, and she happened to see somebody else's coat. She grabbed somebody's coat at ringside and choked her with it. So she still got the bid in, but it was a really good women's match. Also, another real good match on the show for me was Juwan Thomas and Paragon. I thought it was real physical. But yeah, it had a real good card. Chris, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I thought it was a real good card. I really liked the main event, but I also really liked the Juwan Thomas and Paragon match.
Who won that?
Paragon.
Did he?
Yeah, help.
Yeah, we don't know where that's going. Some music played. It looked like the match was over. It looked like Juwan was going to win.
Or either hurt him because he put a chair around his neck.
Yeah, or hurt him. He was down, not moving. Music plays. Don't know whose music it was. Juwan turns around and music plays for a while, and it gives Paragon enough time to recover and hit his finishing move on Juwan Thomas, but nobody ever came out. So
yeah, I don't see that happened with Luke Savage and Dutch Boy Platinum, because Dutch Boy and Rachel Armstrong are feuding, I guess, now.
Yep.
And her music played, and it's like, well, if anybody had been watching Facebook, they know she's not here.
Yeah.
Yep, she did. But and to speak of Rachel Armstrong, not to interrupt or nothing, she had a match down at G.W.R's Tuesday with Mickey Midas.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Sylvia, the referee, told us the next one of those is May 6th. It's on a Tuesday. We put it on the calendar, and we're going. Kelly's going. We're going to tell the, hey, you guys find your babysitters. We're going on a Tuesday, and because I guess Mickey Midas asked Sylvia, well, is she any good? And Sylvia started laughing, and she says, yeah, she's good. You just wait.
I got to see some highlights from that.
Oh, man, yeah.
It looked really good. Rachel looked really, really good.
Well, I know Mickey Midas gave her a big shout out.
Yeah,
about how good she was. So that was pretty. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, she's getting ready to go to West Virginia, but not only that, she's doing an appearance at Walmart.
Yeah, this weekend.
But I think the appearance at Walmart's on a Tuesday in West Virginia.
Well, they're in Colorado, but yeah, she's supposed to be in West Virginia, I think, this weekend coming up. So
her Pogo, not Pogo.
I was saying not Pogo.
Pondo. Madman Pondo.
Yeah.
Madman Pondo, her and somebody else is doing a signing at Walmart in West Virginia.
All right, well, that's cool.
Because they're the champ. I think
yeah, she's the champ.
She's one of the champs and stuff. So she's
on billboards out there. They got those flyers on billboards out there. So
she's moving up quick, and that's awesome. That's awesome.
And that's what I told Kelly. I says we need to go on May 6th because she's going to be gone before you know it, just like Billy Starks. And Billy Stark's supposed to be on that card too. I said I need one more picture with them girls before that's not going to be an option anymore because they're too big and they won't be here. So
that's true.
Yeah, she's getting hot. She's traveling everywhere because I think they just got back from Colorado early this morning, and like you said, in West Virginia this weekend.
Well, before we get on our main topic,
and they drove to Colorado and back.
Can you imagine those 4 people? I bet that was a wild car ride.
Yep.
I'd like to just sit in the back seat, take a van. I'll sit back there and just listen. I bet that was nuts.
I've been with Mike King, Roger, Chris, me, and was it Eric or Stevie? Stevie in a car together.
Well, Eric too.
Yeah, Eric too. Yeah, because
Kokomo.
That was Kokomo. Yeah. So yeah. Mike King driving or Roger driving.
I've heard that by more than one person.
You're lucky to be alive with Mike King driving.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So then we went on a trip to Jeffersonville with Mike King.
that was crazy.
That was a fun night.
Yeah, that was great. Want to go ahead and go over what we got coming up what you got coming up this weekend and what we got coming up this weekend, and then we'll get into our main topic.
Friday we'll be at the Dub, and Saturday we'll be at Traditional Championship Wrestling in Jeffersonville. And I don't think there's any Sundays shows this weekend, so it'll just be the 2.
Okay. Well, we're going to be at help me out, Chris.
Shelbyville. New Era Wrestling.
Yeah, we're going to be at New Era.
Shelbyville, Indiana.
Yep. Should be a
Saturday. Doors open at 6, bell times at 7.
And I did see the main event. It's going to be left around left.
Braden Lee.
Yeah, Braden Lee's on it.
Lee against. Yeah. Can you remember his name?
Which one you pointing at?
One with the belt in his hand.
Jordan Dye?
Jordan Dye. That's the main.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, I should have known that. I
couldn't remember his name. I'm sorry.
Roger Moore went to. Yeah, Roger Moore was at Emerge on Saturday, 300 plus. Said it was fantastic. Of course, they don't put on bad shows there, but Braden Lee was in the main event. I couldn't tell you who he wrestled, and it was brought out, of course, that Jeremy Halley was the guy in the mask, which we kind of knew that because I'd seen him at Summit Pro when he attacked Dallas, so I'd already seen him in that get-up. But
Hadley's been everywhere. He's trying to be Wrestler of the Year, I think, this year, Marcus, because he's everywhere.
Well, Roger Moore tried. The trash can that creamed into me went up for a 50-50 signed by Cole Radrick and Big Beef this past weekend, and he tried to get it. So I had a chance, I guess, because he's going to give it to me. Okay. And we did win the 50-50 yesterday, so we got a T-shirt from Eli Wilder and $41. I mean, paid for us to go over there.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, Kelly on here said that she told you that Paragon and Jawan Thomas was going to be good.
Well, let me ask you this. You know where the $41 ended up going?
Kelly?
Well, yeah, on where'd she go?
Goodwill,
because she says, "Oh, I got Goodwill buddy." That's exactly what she said. I got the shirt, and she got the Goodwill buddy. So
there ended up being, I'd say, 100 people.
100, maybe a little more. I was worried because I text you.
Yeah.
Probably after the doors were open 20, 25 minutes, and there's like 25 people in there. I said, "Oh man!" But then But what was weird, the show's supposed to start at 6. It didn't get started until about 6:15. Probably about 40 or 50 people come in between 6 and 6:15.
Yeah.
You see that a lot. I'm always there early. I always want to be there when the doors open because I want to get good seats. I just want to be there anyway.
Yeah.
I can't see paying to get into a show unless I double shot it and I'm coming in at intermission or something. But if I'm going to be at a show, I want to see the whole show. I mean, I don't want to see part of the show.
Yeah.
And even though Space Cowboy lost, and there's been stuff that pissed me off over the years, I've not got up and left. But
yeah, maybe they were just there to see Space Cowboy and they was going to leave. I mean, I don't know.
Well, he's got a big following. The last couple of times, we've been there twice, and he's like the Dirty Birds. He's got his own little section over there.
Right, he lives in Florida now, but he's from Indiana, I believe. So he's got a pretty big following here. But he pretty much wrestles just at WTF. I think we've seen him at Jeffersonville one time too. So. Well, get into our main topic, Marcus. What you want to go first?
Well, I can. What do you want me to start with? Which way?
However you want to start.
All right, let's see. I got we'll do the ones that were like here today, gone tomorrow.
Okay.
And I got a lot of these off the internet. Some I pulled off the top of my head.
Okay.
Some of them didn't make sense because they had Adrian Adonis in that list. Like, okay, who put that list together? Because that makes no sense. And there was another one I was on there, and it's like, no, come on. It's like somebody needs to go back a few years. But Corporal Kirshner,
yep,
basically, I think was brought in to take on Nikolai Volkov in the Saturday night main events. I think that's about the only time you ever seen Corporal Kirshner. And my dad always brings up Outback Jack because I don't know if you remember him. He was of course, he was an Australian. And they hyped him for 6 to 8 weeks, and he was only there for a month, if that.
Yeah.
But if you look, and I do have a few of them, there is Outback Jack trading cards out there. So he was there long enough to get the trading card made of him.
He wasn't on TV, but he was there for a while because I actually seen him in a couple of house shows.
I think that's all he done.
Yeah, he didn't make it on TV, so they just used him as a hand on the house shows to lose matches.
Basically, yeah. You remember the Berserker?
Yep.
The thing I remember about the Berserker, I don't think it was it's probably a Monday Night Raw. It might have been a Saturday night's main event. He stabbed that sword into the apron of stabbed the ring basically. Nails.
Yep.
Remember Nails?
Yep.
Okay, now I have Waylon Mercy. He's in the wrong category because that ended up being Dan Spivey. That was one of those.
Oh, that Dan Spivey was also Nails.
Was he? Okay, well, that may be why they're here together. Because see, you see this. I wrote a lot of stuff out here.
Yeah,
it's been a busy weekend with everything going on. So,
and he also had another character after that. Let's see if you remember, Waylon Mercy.
Yeah, that's what I had. Waylon Mercy and Nails. And then Dan Spivey was on there. Yeah.
Yeah, he was all those guys, and actually Bray Wyatt, the original Bray Wyatt, that's where he got that character from, was Waylon Mercy.
So I guess it kind of worked. It just didn't work for him.
Kind of like the original Mick Foley, the guy that had multiple different.
Well, no,
characters.
he didn't have them all at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, he'd been so many characters over the years. Like,
so them were just all the different gimmicks that he done.
Yeah,
okay.
But there's more than that. Remember I told you he was part of that American Starship Eagle with
Starship Eagle.
Yeah, with Scott Hall, and he. I've got this written down somewhere. Where I forget where he was Eagle. Let's see. He was Coyote.
Yeah, I had to look that up because I never heard of that. That must have been so bad that.
Yeah, it didn't last very long.
Remember that.
The name is terrible.
Yeah, there was Eagle, American Starship, and he was Eagle, and the other one was Coyote.
Coyote and Eagle.
Coyote and Eagle. Yeah,
but Dan Spivey ended up going off with Mike Rotundo to be the new U.S. Express there, and that was very short-lived too. So
because he took Wyndham's place when Wyndham left. Yeah, Spivey, he was Nails, and he got fired for actually physically trying to choke Vince McMahon to death.
Well,
yeah, he tried to kill Vince McMahon.
He probably wasn't the only one that wanted to.
No, there's a lot of people wanted to. He actually done it.
He decided he was going to do it.
He actually done it.
Hey.
I had PN News. Remember PN News? He was on
Yep.
WCW.
Like your
Rapper,
brother would say,
big-
sometimes people just need to be choked.
Yeah. And then what's the big one? Mantar.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about Mantar. Duke the Dumpster Drosy. He was around for a little while.
Yep.
Now, who was the goon? I couldn't find who. I didn't
Okay, that
look
was
that far.
Wild Bill Irwin.
That's right.
Remember Wild Bill
Okay,
Irwin?
well, that goes down to the other one then, because the Irwins were a big tag team in the AWA.
Yep.
So, so that was one of those here. You're a has-been. Use this stupid gimmick. So, and then Glacier, the Yeti. Do you remember who the Yeti was? That
Yep.
wasn't another Kevin Nash crap, was it?
I don't know who was in the Yeti outfit, but I remember the Yeti.
And then Bastion Booger. He was also Friar Ferguson.
Friar Ferguson, and he was Norman the Lunatic in WCW.
Yeah. And none of them worked.
Nope. No, he had more success as Norman the Lunatic than he probably did the other two.
Right. So that's who I had gone here today, gone tomorrow. Did you have any in that list?
Yeah.
That I didn't?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, I had Damien Demento too. I must have skipped that one, but
I forgot about Damien Demento. That's a good one. Here's what I've got here.
What about like Val Venus? Did he do any other things besides being?
I think he was just Val Venus.
Yeah.
He had another name before he got to WWE, but I really didn't know much about him. I pulled something off of called GameSpot, and it was the worst gimmicks. Let's see what you guys think. Number 15 had Disco Inferno.
yeah, that's on another one because he ended up being Glenn Gilberti or something like that. It's on
Had 14 Mordecai, which was
okay. Well, now let me make a little funny statement about Disco Inferno. If you ever see Kenneth James, he was Disco Stu briefly.
Okay.
Wore the same getup like John Travolta did. And he goes, all I want to do is dance. And it didn't last very long. So if you ever see him, harass him about that. So
okay.
He's one of them we'll get on the show. So we'll have to ask him about that.
Okay, well, if you do, then I will ask him that question.
Okay. Number 14, they had Mordecai, which was Kevin Thorne.
Yeah, he's local. You know what he does now? He's a realtor in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, yep. Had 13. See if you remember this because it wasn't very long. 7, which was Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, I have 7 on here too.
Of course, Isaac Yankem, which was Kane, of course. And I got to see a lot of that last night with Isaac Yankem on the.
Yeah, we got back to the motel and I flipped the TV on and they were just in and it's like, shoot.
It was good.
It was good. Well, I saw it. I go back and watch it all.
I also had the Berserker, who he had some fame. He was Jonathan. His name originally was Jonathan Noid, and he's also Noid the Barbarian in AWA.
That was NWA, right?
AWA, I believe.
Could have been. I remember it, but I don't remember where.
Next one was Repo Man, which was Barry Darso in WCW. Also, he was Smash. So he had some success after actually, Smash was
Smash was first,
and then he did the Repo Man.
And then he did go be the Black-tailed Bully over in WCW.
Yeah, you're right.
So he that was on my list. You know, good to terrible. Like
8 was Mountie.
I have the Mountie on here. I am the Mountie.
I'm going to give you this name and see if you know who was in this costume. Gobbledygooker.
That was one of the Guerreros, but I couldn't tell you which one.
It was Hector.
Yeah,
it was Hector Guerrero.
Yeah,
he was older than.
Do you remember when that crap happened? They built that crap up for butts, and that egg was. I wasn't at that show. I had a friend of mine that was at the show in Indy, and that egg was there at Indy.
Yeah,
and then they get down to the Survivor Series. See, the Undertaker debuted the day the Gobbledygooker did too. Yeah. So, and then
that was probably the worst debut of all time.
Well, the worst hype up to it. And then that's all it was in there. It's like, geez. But that thing still makes appearances. So
the Mexicools, which was Juventud Guerrero. I can't remember who all was in it now. It was 3 of them. Just never took off. They were big in WCW. Some of them guys were, but they went to WWE and got nothing. Max Moon.
Yeah, I have Maxi Moon on here. That ended up being Conan, right?
Yeah, that was the weird thing. He was Conan for just not very long. And then, if I remember right, Paul Diamond took it over.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But he wasn't. Yeah, Conan wasn't
Isn't he
with
the
him
one
very
that
long.
shot those? You know, come out and he'd shoot those things out of his wrist.
I think
Is that
so.
the gimmick I'm thinking?
I believe so. See if you remember this one, because I barely did. Man Mountain Rock.
Yeah, I remember that. Was that
WWF.
WCW?
That was WWF, and WCW. He was Max Payne.
Okay, I remember I could see it plain as day, but
Man Mountain Rock.
Yep.
well, he
Here's
wasn't
one.
a good wrestler to start with. He was one of them just brawler type. He had no skills. He was just a big guy.
Okay, the number 3 on this list was, and I never even knew this one. I never heard of this one, and it's the same guy. Number 3 and number 2 is the same guy. Number 3 is Super Shockmaster, which I don't remember.
Well, who's number 2? So maybe
Shockmaster, which is both of them's Fred Ottoman, who was Tugboat and Typhoon.
Well, see, Tugboat was a bad gimmick too.
Yeah.
He was Typhoon. He was Tugboat.
Tugboat. Yeah. But after all that, he was Super Shockmaster, which I don't remember Super Shockmaster.
Hey, how's it going,
Okay,
bro?
so was he Super Shockmaster after he was Shockmaster?
After
So
the
they
Shockmaster.
thought, okay, we will revive this piss poor gimmick.
Yes. They wanted to go even worse.
So you talk about the egg that the San Diego chicken came out of.
You need to go to the 90s and pull up Survivor Series, and then you
So,
know.
so I was at the Hartford Civic Center when it happened.
Their number 1 was Mantar, and he was Bruiser Mastino, was originally who he was.
I think he's saying Max Moon came out with the guitar.
Oh, okay. So who was the one that shot the things out of his wrist?
I think that's who Justin Danger's talking about.
Max Moon was a mask gimmick.
Well, one of the guys you were just talking about.
Wait a minute. I'm thinking, wait a minute.
Oh, guitar was Man Mountain Rock.
Man Mountain Rock.
And,
Okay,
and
Man
also,
Mountain Rock.
And also Max Payne did too.
Okay.
If I Max Payne may not, but Man Mountain Rock come out with a guitar.
Okay, that's who.
Is that WCW?
Man Mountain Rock was WWF.
Man,
he was Max Payne, WCW.
Because there was a guy that came out with a guitar in the WCW.
Oh, WCW, that was came out with the guitar, big blonde-headed dude.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name.
Yeah, I thought Max Moon was the guy that shot the fire out of his wrist.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody can help us out there.
Yeah, because that guy was tall.
I think Justin might just
Van Hammer.
That's it.
I couldn't think of it. I could see him, but I couldn't think of his name.
I seen him at the Coliseum, and that guy was like, I bet he was 7 foot or better. You could just see how tall he was when he walked to the ring or whatever he done. Just like Elegante, the height on that guy.
Yeah.
When you see him in person, you're a distance away, and you can still see how tall them guys are.
Here's Bleacher Report's top 10 worst gimmicks, and there's a couple on here. One in particular that I do not agree with, and I don't think you will either. Their number 10 was Mr. America, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I have that on here too.
Bastion Booger was 9. 8 was the one I didn't agree with. They have down Kamala.
How is that a bad gimmick? That guy ran that in every promotion that was out there.
I don't get that at all. And another one too, the Boogeyman.
Yeah, and see, the Boogeyman came up on mine, and I had to laugh because the Boogeyman's still capitalizing on that, obviously.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Their number 6 was Nails. Number 5 was the Goon, which was Bill Irwin. Repo Man was 4. Isaac Yankem was 3. Gobbledygooker was the 2. And Mantor was their number 1 also. I've got a list of a few on here. Of course, I had American Starship Eagle with Spivey and Hall as Eagle and Coyote. Red Rooster, of course. Lord Tenzai, which was Matt Bloom. Kerwin White, which was Chavo Guerrero.
And where did these people wrestle? I've not even heard those names.
Okay, Kerwin White was in WWF, and he was playing a white golfer, Chavo Guerrero.
So how would I forget something stupid like that? It's like
Lord Tenzai was Matt Bloom, and he was also he wrestled with Tess, the great big dude.
Oh, that's Albert.
Albert, yeah, that's the same guy.
Yeah.
Also, I had the Yeti down. I had the Kiss Demon.
Yeah, we've talked about Red Rooster many, many times.
Techno 2000, which was Bill Watts' son, Eric Watts, and another guy, which I had never even heard of. before that and after that. And then one that I forgot about. See if you remember this guy, Kazarni.
No, I don't.
I don't think he lasted very long, but it was a dude like a circus dude who supposed to come from a circus, and they called our Carney, and his name was Kazarni.
No, where was that at?
WWE. WWE had a lot. WWF had a lot of bad gimmicks.
Vince McMahon.
Wow.
He came up with some good ones, but he also came up with some that
Yeah. Oh yeah. For all the good ones he came up with, he came up with 2 or 3 bad ones. Chris, did you have any? And then I've got a list of.
I don't have any different than the ones you guys said.
I've got bad gimmicks to stars.
You guys covered the ones I had, and you guys are older than me, so you guys also named off somebody.
Okay. Yeah, I got bad to stars too. Go ahead.
Okay, I had Diamond Stud to Razor Ramon and Scott Hall. I had Oz to Diesel and Kevin Nash.
Don't forget Vinny Vegas. He was that guy too.
Vinny Vegas too. Yeah, I forgot about that. I had Festus to Luke Gallows. Max Moon to Conan, which because he was Max Moon like 91, so he went on to be Conan and WCW and other places. Dustin, I don't know if it was a bad gimmick, but he wasn't going nowhere. No. So I don't want to say it's bad. Dustin Rhodes
can't be a gimmick if that's who you are, I guess. But
that's true. But he wasn't going to make it as Dustin Rhodes.
No, he couldn't because of his dad.
Yeah. This was one I never heard of. He was in WWE before ECW, and I didn't know this. He was, I guess it's pronounced Xanta Claus, Xanta Claus. It must not have been very long in WWF. That's Balls Mahoney. And I had no idea. Of course, fake Isaac Yankem and fake Diesel to Kane. And when you do watch that last night, it was really interesting. They talk about the Isaac Yankem, and he just said he got down and he had a match with, I believe it was the Undertaker, and Undertaker got on to him and said, "Look, man, if you want to be here, you got to act like you want to be here." He said, "I know this is a terrible gimmick, but you gotta brain it every day. You can't, you just can't quit braining it."
He said he thinks the Santa Claus was just a one Raw.
I think it may have been. And then he, but yeah, and then he got to be fake Diesel. And even though the fake Diesel didn't work, a lot of people on there said that it wasn't because of Kane being fake Diesel, because he said he was doing everything that he needed to do. They just said the guy who was playing Scott Hall was terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, and he said it really gave him confidence. He said being fake Diesel in the ring is really what got him up to the next level where he could be ready to. He said he at least proved to himself he belonged there, is what Kane said last night. Next one was Mortis to Chris Canyon. Nikki Spirit, which Nikki from the Spirit Squad to Dolph Ziggler.
I didn't write any of the Spirit Squad people down, but
yeah, that was one. It was Dolph Ziggler. So that's the people I had down to.
Justin Danger said Kazami does stuff in Vegas now.
Yeah, they said that Kazami was still doing stuff, but
so he was an actual circus sideshow guy, I guess. Is that what he's doing in Vegas? Is he still?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's wrestling or what he's doing, but he didn't make it very long. I remember him, but I didn't remember him until I seen it online when I was looking up stuff, and then I remember him, but like he wasn't around very long.
Hey, how's it going, Glenn? Nikki, Mikey, we were the Spirit Squad.
Yep. Okay, Marcus, do you have some?
This is bad to good, right?
Yep.
I had the roadie, went on to be the road dog. And then if you think about it, I don't know if you can call the Smoking Guns, you had Billy, which I guess worked because they were tag team belts. But do you remember when Honky Tonk Man took over Billy and he was Rockabilly for a while?
Rockabilly.
Yeah.
Well, even Triple H come out one time and cut that in a promo. Says, "You were Rockabilly one time and you were the roadie. Now look at you." It's like, I had IRS. I mean, well, no, that didn't. Let's see. No. I don't know how you look at that, because Mike Rotundo and IRS were pretty much on the same level. They were both tag team champions. IRS was tag team champion. so was Mike Rotundo. So take that for however.
Remember he was in WCW as Michael Wall Street?
See, now that was bad, but that went the other direction because he was with Miss York, who was what was it, that Dustin Rhodes' wife?
Yep. What was her name?
Terry.
Terry Runnels, but then she had I forget what she was with Goldust. Right now, I'm old, guys.
I can't remember what was.
Well, now I knew it until you said that. Marlena,
yeah.
Marlena.
Well, you remember who else was in that group of?
Thomas Rich.
Yep.
Richard Morton.
Ricky Morton was Richard Morton.
Yeah. Thank God those guys got out of that because then they went back to being themselves. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Sparky Plug to Hardcore Holly.
Yeah.
Now, I've never been a fan of Hardcore Holly or Sparky Plug, and especially once I found out that Bob Holly's an ass in general. So
yeah.
G.I.Bro. Remember him?
G.W.R.
Booker T.
Booker T. Yeah, he was G.W.R.
I was gonna say I remember the name, but I couldn't.
Yep.
Okay, then of course you have Blade Runner Rock.
Yep.
And Blade Runner Flash, and they went on to be Warrior and Sting.
Yep.
Then I had Prototype. You remember that's still actually kind of recent, really.
Yeah, John Cena.
Yeah, and then Levitron was Batista.
Yep.
Johnny Polo.
Yep. Raven.
Right. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 Kid's another one. That's a good one. That didn't make the list. I'm surprised it didn't.
Yep. 1, 2, 3 Kid. Yep.
Lord Humongous.
And before he got to be 1, 2, 3 Kid, he was in a federation. I think it was called GWF.
Smoky Mountain. I thought it was Smoky Mountain.
He was in another one. It was on ESPN. I think it was called GWF, and he was the Lightning Kid.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, I remember that because when he actually started in WWE, he had the light bolts. He still had them.
Still had the light bolts, but they were calling him 1, 2, 3 Kid. Yeah.
You remember Lord Humongous?
Yeah, that was Sid, wasn't it?
Yeah, he wore the hockey mask.
Yep.
Aldo Montoya.
Yeah, that was.
I don't remember how it went. Was he? That may have been the other way because it was just incredible.
Yeah,
it's just incredible, and then he went to Aldo Montoya, right? Or was it the other way?
I think you're right. I think he went from Credible to Montoya, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Then I had Papa Shango and Kama because then he went on to be Road Dogg.
You mean what now?
No, not Road Dogg. Papa Shango and Kama went on to be the Godfather. See, I had Road Dogg over here at this side, so wait a
minute. Yeah, I was gonna say, wait a minute.
I didn't outline right. I just wrote it on here and just kept reading across. So,
wait a minute, because I know Marcus knows that.
Yeah. I think that's all I have on that mess.
He says Aldo to Credible.
Aldo to Credible.
Oh, so he was the bad gimmick first. I couldn't remember. Do you remember him in ECW? He teamed with Lance Storm.
Yeah,
Don Reeves are managers. Yeah,
the Impact players. Yeah.
Oh my!
Hurricane Helms, was he bigger as Hurricane Helms, or
he was
before
bigger?
That?
He was bigger as Hurricane Helms than he was.
I
mean, he had some success as cruiserweight in WCW,
but Justin Danger is on here. I think he can verify this story. Sugar Shane Helms was in Marion at the old theater, and then he showed up on Monday Night Raw the following Monday as the Hurricane.
Okay.
Jason Maples used to go by the Hurricane, or what he did at that time too.
Yeah.
And if I understood what Jason told me, then this has been years ago, that Jason actually got a settlement from WWE because they took the Hurricane from him.
Huh.
Now, Justin Danger maybe be able to back that up because Justin Danger was more into that part. So if I'm wrong, or if it was just a story, or
he said all true.
He said all true.
Okay. Because I thought it was funny because it's like I called Jason the very next day. I said, "Hey, did you see Raw last night? Because Shane came out as the Hurricane." He said, "Yeah, and I wasn't a bit happy about it." And yeah, he ended up getting 5 digits, if I remember right. He $25,000 or something like that to buy the name off of him, or buy the use of the name.
Well, by Sugar Shane Helms and 3 Count in WCW.
Yeah, I've seen 2 of those guys in person now because Shannon Moore this past summer.
Yep.
And
he was one I had just because I thought he was bigger as hurricane than
Yeah,
what he was
yeah.
before.
And
Stone Cold, I mean, but
he was pretty big because he was big in Texas, and then
he went to a whole nother level.
Yeah. Compared to levels, yeah. I mean, yeah, he went from a star to a mega star.
Well, yeah, because he was when he was one of the Hollywood Blondes. I mean, they were very popular.
But could you imagine Bischoff having the nerve to tell him that he would never make it?
Yeah,
yeah.
Make it big.
Jason told me that one 2 years ago. That since Shane McMahon was in the business, they didn't want, and Helms didn't want to be Gregory Helms because that sounds kind of dorky. But you remember Gregory Helms ended up playing a reporter there for a while too.
Yep.
And
he said, "Who was the third three?"
I don't remember. I knew it was Shannon Moore, Sugar Shane Helms. Is that the third member?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't think. I think he was that. Might have been.
Oh, maybe. Okay. I don't remember who the third member was.
I don't either.
I've got a guy pictured in my mind, but I can't think of his name.
I'll tell you another story. Justin can back this one up too. Some weird wacko lady found out that Sugar Shane Helms was going to be at the EWF arena and called up Jason Maples and said she was one of these sugar babes or something like that. And came in, paid to come in to be a sugar babe. And Jason told Shane Helms that, hey, I got one of your sugar babes. He's like, you got one of my what? But the lady still, because the match was Sugar Shane Helms versus Nate Phoenix.
Yep. Evan Courageous. I couldn't remember his name. It was the guy I thought it was, but I couldn't remember his name. That was Courageous.
Yeah, Sugar Shane Helms and Nate Phoenix was the match, and the Sugar Babe was there, and she's the one that caused Nate to lose. But yeah, Shane's like, you got my what? It's like, so that was years ago. That was still at the theater. They were still at the theater when that happened.
That'd be probably what, right before we met up with Maples, wasn't it?
I don't know what year it was. It's been so long.
I think were they at the theater before he was in Converse?
Oh yeah, he was at the theater. Then he was in like an old garage, or I'm not sure what. I think it was a garage. It was next to the Pizza King over there, across from that factory. He was in there for a few years, and then when he went to the Converse, I don't think he was running shows again. Still in Marion, I think it was sporadic.
Got hung on top rope by him.
I remember he had Sugar Shane twice, or twice that I can remember.
Now, Marcus, is it the next couple weeks you can't do it on Mondays?
It'll be the Monday after the Hall of Fame because we'll be in Kentucky.
Okay, you'll be okay for next week then?
Yeah.
20th?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay. Well,
we're doing the Hall of Fame on that Friday, and then we're leaving Saturday morning, and then we'll be back April 1st for the cage match in Lebanon. That's our plan. To be gone that whole week.
Okay.
And then we'll be back. Yeah. And then April 2nd, we had plans, and I don't know if those plans are still good. So we have to be back by April 2nd in case those family plans are still going. So, but that's our goal right now. Planning on seeing the micros while we're gone.
Okay.
We're going to go into Pigeon Forge. Right now, it's just one day, just that Wednesday, hit the micros and then be back out. That's our plan, but we shoot by the hip, so who knows?
Yeah, Nate wrestled them both times.
It rained both nights, too. I don't know why I remember that. I think it's because they came in soaked and wet both times, and the girls were all like, because Sugar Shane Helms and the wet hair and all that. I think that's why I remember it rained both nights, but yeah, we're going fishing in Kentucky, Cumberland Lake.
You gonna try to beat her again, huh?
I don't know if I can. It'll be interesting because it's her uncle and her cousin. And they're big fishermen too, so I probably don't have a snowball's chance in hell at all. But they like to eat their fish, and so I'll eat whatever's caught this time. So even if I don't catch, I'm still winning because.
What's your favorite fish to eat?
I like catfish. I like perch. Um, They're really one I don't. Now I'm allergic to like shellfish and shrimp and stuff,
Okay.
but fish, I like fish.
That's my grandson.
And Kelly doesn't like fish. She don't like eating it.
Yeah, my grandson's 15, and his favorite food was till about 7 was shrimp, and
Yeah, I can't do that.
now I can't eat it.
Yeah, I'm allergic to shrimp. I love shrimp. I just can't eat it.
Yep.
It was weird because he ate it all a lot and was never allergic to it or anything, and then all of a sudden,
Well, he was here.
boom.
He was here and had it like for a week, and had it 3 or 4 times that week, and then a month later, he got a hold of some shellfish or something, and yeah, he was really bad allergic. He's bad allergic to cats and to. He just matter of fact, because he wanted to eat it again. He got tested just here a few months ago, and they said nope.
Well, see, it took us a while to figure out I was allergic to shrimp because back in the old days, shrimp was a high commodity. You just didn't eat shrimp like you do today. It was you either went to Red Lobster to get it because nobody could afford it any other way. Everywhere now you can get it by the bucket loads almost, but back then it was rare to have it, so it took a while to figure out that's what the problem was. But
He said, "I love the fish, but don't like to eat it."
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's why those fish go to her line because they're afraid I'm going to dress them out and eat them, and they know she won't. So
Yeah.
I'll use that. That's my new excuse.
if she catches it, she's going to throw us back in, and let us go. We'll be
Well,
okay.
not with her or her nephew or her cousin there that she won't be. But I think we got off topic again.
Yeah, I'll ask your opinion on something. During that Kane show last night,
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Undertaker made a statement. I want to see if you agree with it. He says he thinks Kane was the greatest debut of all time.
It was pretty impressive. I'd have to say pretty much, and I'll have to think if I can find another one. But yeah, that was pretty impressive.
I'm trying to think of another.
And see, that was one of those build-ups too that actually worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they talked about that too, about how it lived up to the build-up. It wasn't a big build-up, and then it just disappointment.
Yeah, see, then they did them crazy things. Remember the blood test to prove that Paul Bearer was his dad?
Yeah.
And Kane's just sitting there with that needle on his arm, and Paul Bearer's doing his because it's a needle. But then the Katie Vick crap.
Yeah, they did some bad. The first hour of the show was real good, and then there was 30 minutes. It was good, but I already seen it. There was a lot about the one thing that was interesting was the Inferno match. They went into it a lot, and it was real interesting stuff I'd never heard. But now some of the other stuff I'd heard, and then the last 20 minutes was some new stuff. And all the interview with his wife was good because you never heard from his wife.
When we was down in Kentucky last year, it was an election month, and we went through Memphis or Knoxville, and you could see all the political things. I says, well, evidently the mayor's not up because I was waiting to find Glenn Jacobs for mayor, and I was going to steal a yard sign out of somebody's yard, but either the mayor wasn't up or everybody done beat me down there to it. I don't know.
We'd get a thing from Kelly, so we won't be going to no more wrestling shows. Why? Because Marcus is dead. He tried to steal somebody's sign out of the yard in Kentucky. He got shot.
Knoxville, yeah.
I don't think I'd be trying to steal anything in Kentucky.
Well, Tennessee,
Kentucky, either one.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but that one last night was really good.
I thought China was pretty good too. I watched it.
Good. It was sad, but it was good.
Oh, yeah, it got very sad there at the end.
Yep. But that's the way it was most addicts. I mean, you say, well, why didn't they let you help him? But it seems the same old story. A lot of them that has that problem. They can't let you help them or won't let you help them for whatever reason.
It happens.
Yeah, unfortunately. But they went into they talked about when he first went to said they give him a limo to WWF and there's Vince and he said, "Are you scared to go to the dentist?" And he said, "No." And he said, "Well, you're gonna be Isaac Yankem." And he said,
EDS, yep.
"Oh God." he like, man, this is the worst day of my life. He said I left there, and he said I just hated it. And he said I hated, he said it was awful.
I can imagine. I mean, I you get all the way up there, and that's what they got for you. It's like, oh Lord.
Yeah, and
wasn't that Jerry Lawler's personal dentist? Is that how they introduced him?
Yeah, they brought him in because remember they talked about that. They brought him in because Lawler had just lost kiss your foot match to Bret Hart, and he had to kiss Bret Hart's foot because he lost the match. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah, I vaguely go.
And then they show him at the dentist office because he wanted to get his mouth looked at, and out comes Isaac Yankem. And he brings in Isaac Yankem to take care of Bret Hart. So that was the. I didn't say it was good. I'm just telling you what they did.
Yeah, I remember. I'm reliving it in my head now. It's like, yeah, I did that then too. It's like,
you got to remember, most geniuses are also crazy. So Vince is genius, but he's also very crazy. So, like I said, for every one good thing he came up with about 3 bad things.
Oh man!
But yeah, they came. They was looking for somebody to be the enemy of the Undertaker, and they came up with this idea of Kane, and they went to the Undertaker and said, "We've got this idea," and they said, "Well, who are you going to bring in for this?" And they told him who, and he said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh yeah, bring."
Because they'd already worked together somewhere else.
Yeah. So he, well, he had matches. He had that terrible match with him as Isaac Yankem, and but then he also seen him as a Diesel, and he said he was the fake Diesel, and he said he was carrying himself very well. And they showed a lot of his moveset and stuff. He was doing the stuff because he was so muscular looking. He may have been, I hate to say this, he might have been a better Diesel than the other one.
Did you ever see? There used to be a show on TV called well, they did a round table. Either G.W.R. was running it or Gene Okerlund. Legends of Wrestling. Did you see that where Kevin Nash was talking about that him and Scott Hall made an extra $400,000 a year because they thought because JR had mentioned that Diesel and Razor Ramon was going to be on Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
And they said, we'll give you $400,000 more a year. And they signed the thing. And they said, now you're standing right there. And what had happened, because they said they wasn't going anywhere, they're watching Raw, and there those clowns are on Raw.
Yep.
They already signed the contract. And
well, see, they had in the contract every time another guy came in, a new guy came in, they got to bump up. So, they were encouraging guys from WWE, hey, come on over and get signed, because every time they come over and got signed, they got a raise. And they just kept making more money and didn't want to work. So, and they wonder why they went out of business.
Yeah, that's it. Smoky Mountain.
Yep.
Legends of the Round.
That's it. I love watching those.
Oh, I've watched every one of them.
I was getting ready to start watching Tuesday Night Titans last week when we got done. No, I have the China thing, so I thought I'd watch it first. So I still haven't watched Tuesday Night Titans, but
I gotta get on that too. I gotta make Chris watch some.
Yeah, I have Chris watch that first one where Dr. Death is or Dr. D.
Remember what we told you.
Kids.
Don't go in there expecting this to be great, because it is great, but it's horribly great.
Episode 1, Cooking with the Samoans. That's the topic. And you get to do Cooking with the Samoans, watching me raw chicken, and yeah, buddy, entertaining.
Hey, I seen a video somebody posted online of Rip Rogers pinning Roddy Piper in Portland.
That could have been, because Rip Rogers is a big name. People don't know he's trained a lot of the people.
It was back in the day in Portland. I don't know what year. It's probably in the 80s, I assume. Probably early 80s, probably 81, 82, 83. And he pinned Piper in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Because Piper was really big in Portland, Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Hustler Rip Rogers. Yeah, I'm hoping to get my picture taken with him this year. He's always at the dub, but he never comes out front. So I keep trying.
He goes to some of the DCCW shows too.
They usually
stick a lot.
Yeah, the only show I've seen him out at was Walt's show.
Yep.
At the last Thunder or Blunder,
Well, that's because he hangs with Dylan Bostic.
And he was there, like he was out there the whole time. Now he stood over in the corner over there, but he was out there the whole time. Usually he stays in, like you say, he stays out in the back.
Was Romer with him?
Yep.
They hang a lot.
Romer actually used part of our table. He set up at the end of our table.
So his book.
He had a book.
Yep, he has a book.
I have his book.
And he was helping your favorite do pictures.
My favorite.
His favorite. I'm not even gonna say because we're on there. I better not say. We'll say this off there.
Oh, okay.
You know who I'm talking about now?
No, not really. I'm thinking.
Did you see him over the weekend?
No.
Okay,
I have no idea.
but
we'll wait till you.
Yeah, we'll wait till we're off there.
Okay.
I don't want to get nothing started. I don't feel like getting canceled this week.
But fuck. I almost got canceled Friday. So
Yeah, I wasn't on that show. I went crazy on a show.
Them guys went too crazy. They went crazy.
Yeah, they lost
on
minds.
Friday, and
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there like, what are we doing? We're way off topic.
That was on a sports show. It had nothing to do with sports.
Like, let's reel this back in. It wasn't happening.
Well, mine was about sports, but they was basically saying all the old athletes, like Bill Russell and great athletes, wasn't no good because they're old. And that'd be the same thing of trying to say these young wrestlers, these young fans saying that people like Dusty Rhodes and stuff wasn't no good because they, Ric Flair couldn't keep up with Kenny Omega. I'm not going to listen to crap like that.
Well, not today, he can't. Ric Flair can't keep up with me today, but
no, not mean that
last match. But yeah, I still think Flair can handle me.
Well, his comparison was, first of all, he tried to say in the NBA there was only 4 teams. There was 13 teams. He tried to say he was playing against that Bill Russell was playing against guys 5'8". Well, when I looked it up, the average guy's size in 1963 was 6'9"3/4. The average size center in the NBA right now is 6'10", quarter-inch difference. So I mean, the stuff he was saying don't make any sense. Yeah. And I went a little crazy.
It's all errors.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, to me, the greatest era in wrestling was the 1980s. To somebody else, I mean, to Chris, it's probably going to be 90s and early 2000s. Yeah. Marcus, it might be 90s. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's different.
I like the 90s, but the 80s was mine.
Yeah, the 80s were mine too.
And I even like the 70s, but I just had to go back to watch them because.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the 70s too, but
I'd have to go back and watch the 70s.
The 70s was really old school. It was just pretty much a lot of punching, kicking.
Yeah.
A lot of it. I mean, there were some really good wrestlers too, but.
And a finishing hold was a finishing hold back then. It wasn't.
Well, it was in the 80s too. I mean.
Not now.
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer and Dave LaGreca told Billy Ray he needs to get off of it, AEW, and because he said, I watched the first match of the night and see 2 great wrestlers who know how to do it right. Orange Cassidy, because he likes Orange Cassidy, and I forget. The guy that would imitate Macho Man and Flair, Black Machismo, the black guy. Somebody help me out there. I'm old, guys. I can't remember names.
I can't remember the name.
I'll tell you.
He's in AEW now, and he did a few years ago in TNA. He did a perfect Macho Man Randy Savage. Somebody help me out there. Come on. But anyway, they know how to wrestle. They know how to do stuff. And he said, you got people kicking out of
Jay Lethal.
People kicking out of tornado DDTs, kicking out of everything. And he was going off about it. He was going off about the referees doing nothing, just standing there, not counting, not doing anything. And so Tommy and Dreamer and them said, well, you just need to quit noticing and just like it. And
I'm not going to tell you where I've seen it, but I seen a show or a match this past weekend that there was a lot of finishers and really close 3 counts. It's like, come on, guys. These are finishing maneuvers. You should not be doing this.
Yeah. Well, we seen a guy on AEW take a Canadian destroyer through a table, get right back up and beat the guy. You know, and I'm like,
I did see Justin Danger over the weekend. He wrestled that Russian guy,
yep.
and
Now that Russian guy,
the Russian guy squeezed him to death. It was a bear hug type of thing.
yeah, is that the same Russian guy that wrestled in Kokomo also?
No,
Different one? Because we seen one in Kokomo when we first went there. He took on an American gimmick.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking to. No, it's not the same one.
Okay.
When you guys were at the NGW show the last time, he was on that show, I think.
I don't think he was there. I think he was supposed to be there, but I don't think he was.
I don't think so. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look, but I don't think so.
No. That guy in Kokomo is not the same one that was across.
Okay.
I know, yeah, no.
Justin said my headlock is deadly, laughing out loud.
He got the crowd going because Justin was the heel or the face, and the crowd was hot Saturday. Crowd was hot all weekend. I mean, all of them.
Good. What was you said? What you thought the best match of the weekend was for you? What about per show? What about Friday night? Was there a match that stood out to you?
Friday night, yeah, Al Dalton and Tom Van Zandt was very good.
And what about Sunday? And
the main event for that was Aaron Atlas versus Kendall Fry. That was the main event. Was main event worthy.
Okay.
So, yeah, Aaron Atlas and the three of the four.
That was the Zay Gates and Avery Hertz match.
That was very good. That's what they opened the show with, and that was just exactly what you would expect it to be. And the Avery Hertz had a belt. I don't remember where he won that.
Cincy Wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah, he won it the night before. So, and he defended it against Zay, and that was good. There wasn't a bad. I don't think I've seen a bad match all weekend. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I just saw that too, Glenn. We just lost Bobby Okereke.
Yeah.
Colts did.
Yep.
I saw that a few minutes ago. But I was wondering about that match because that was one of the match.
Yeah.
I told us I was a match I'd like to see just because I've heard so much. Well, I've seen both of them.
Yeah.
Just their styles and everything. Now, and I saw that Avery Hertz gave Zay a shout out saying
it was good.
And good and stuff.
Well, you know how Buck and Jesse like to do their own ring announcing for themselves. They brought out. It ended up being Buck's daughters, but they brought out this box with two microphones plugged into it and walked out there, ring announced themselves. They didn't take the microphone from Ron Butcher. They just brought their own system out. Yeah, them guys killed me. They took on the Sanji brothers. Like I said, I did not see a bad match all weekend.
Yeah, our show was real good too. So I mean, I can't complain. I think their next show he said was May.
No,
June
10th.
Yeah, because he runs quarterly. Well, is it the next show though in Carmel at the Mercy Church in Carmel? Yeah, because he alternates back and forth.
Yeah, he said he didn't have the whole card put together, so I'm not sure who's going to be on or anything. But pretty sure it was June 10th.
No, it was a Saturday.
Oh, yeah, I don't. Yeah, it'd be a Saturday. So, yeah, it's June 10th.
Well, guys, I think we don't have anything else. We can get out of here. Do you guys got any ideas for a topic for next Monday?
I'll leave it up to you this time. Come on, Chris, it's your turn. We'll put him on the spot.
On the spot. I don't know.
Does anybody else out there have an idea?
Yeah.
Justin, Glenn,
what's a good? Yeah, Justin and Glenn, give us some topics for next Monday. Something you'd like to hear about. Not everybody.
And Glenn, since you're the man of all sports, it's got to be wrestling related. So I enjoyed your interview, Glenn, but I'll have to tell you once you guys straight off the wrestling, it's not my team.
Billy Buss misses crazy manager.
They could do one on managers. That'd be one of the topics. And if somebody else gives us another topic,
we'll need a couple.
we'll do wrestling managers.
Okay, who did that? Justin?
That was Billy Buzz Smith.
Okay. Justin, you got one? Glenn?
Somebody.
I know Billy was watching that Pillman and Apollo match, and he said he liked it. I think that card at New Era this Saturday will be pretty good. They usually put it on pretty good.
Yeah, they usually do
pretty
real
good.
well.
I know one of the matches down in Jeffersonville is going to be Jake Elliott versus Loki. Loki. It's not low-key. It's Loki.
Okay.
And I know Chris Chaos is taking on, oh, man. I think I've seen his match too, but I don't think I was familiar with his opponent. And I'm sure Mickey Midas will be there because he works out of the arena a lot.
I have to go back and do you know what he's referring to? Because I'm old. About the ECW 98 heat wave incident.
Not right offhand, but I sure find out. Give us a hint there, Glenn.
Remember, Glenn, I'm old and I've slept a couple times. Some days I barely know my own name, Glenn.
See, now that's before I started watching ECW. I didn't start watching ECW until like 2000 and
Dudley Boys Nuclear Heat with a crowd. I tell you what, won't we do? Let's do let's do managers, and then let's do ECW. Let's do crazy moments in ECW, greatest moments in ECW. Just anything that stands out to us. Best pay-per-views that we like the best. Let's do ECW.
All right. I didn't watch too many ECW pay-per-views, but I watched it when they finally got their TV deal.
Yeah,
it was on Friday nights. I watched a lot of it.
Go back. Did you ever watch the very first ECW pay-per-view?
Is that the one that Shane Douglas took the belt and changed it from Eastern to Extreme?
No, I don't think that was the main pay-per-view. The very where they got mainstream.
That's where Tommy Dreamer went through like
a bunch of tables.
Yeah, choke slammed them off like the platform.
I'll do some watching this.
But they're all on the. Have you ever watched that special? It's real good. It's 10 years later or whatever. Tommy Dreamer, all them guys get back together like a round table type deal and talk ECW. It's on the network. I think you'd really like it, Marcus. Find
okay,
it.
I have seen the 50 most oh my god moments.
Yeah,
ECW oh my god moments.
But it's Paul Heyman, all them guys up there.
Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer.
I think you've seen it.
Oh wow, I didn't know that was there. I'd be watching that.
Yeah,
it's real good. I've seen it a couple.
It's real good. It's on the network.
I've watched it a couple times.
Yeah, once I started watching ECW, I fell in love with that.
Oh yeah, we did too.
Yeah, Glenn, table for three, but that's not what I'm talking about on this one. This was like a special ECW.
Yeah, it was just about ECW.
The history of ECW or something. I forget what it was called, but I'm sure you'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
We're bringing up Mass Transit, but because that's an ECW scar, the Mass Transit guy.
Yeah.
There was somebody else that was on that there too. Tommy Dreamer, Paul
Heyman, of course, Bully Ray. I can't remember the other ones, but there was quite a few. It was really good.
Sandman, maybe. I'm trying to think who the main ones was.
I don't think Sandman was part of that.
Taz.
Taz.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, Raven's part of MLW right now. He's managing a group in MLW.
Really?
Yep.
Have you seen? Well, I guess you have seen him. He looks kind of bad, but
yeah. Speaking of the MLW, real quick before we leave, they're in a big fight with WWE again. I guess they got that deal with Reels. Well, Reels just signed a deal last week or last couple of weeks with Peacock to show all their shows on real shows on Peacock, like that live PD show, which is real popular. But Peacock will not allow, because it's in the contract with WWE and the WWE network, no other wrestling shows can show on Peacock.
Oh yeah, I think
so Reels cannot show MLW, and MLW's mad. But that's not unusual for somebody to have an exclusive,
Right.
you know. And now they're mad. Now they're suing
Of course they are.
WWE. They're
Of
going to
course they
lose.
are.
They're going to lose that. They're going to lose. I mean, I think I'd be saving my money for things you can do and be successful, not stuff you're going to lose.
Right.
Of course, I've seen people encourage them. The little guy's got to stand up to the big guy. Well, yeah, the little guy's going to lose a bunch of money and be
he's
in the
going to
worst
stand
place.
up all right. He just ain't going to win. But
Yeah, I mean, fight battles you can win.
you know, because that's why a lot of people lose their lawsuits is because they run out of money, and the guy who basically it's like poker. Who has the most money is the one's going to win. It's like,
Yep.
Well, you ready to get out of here?
Yeah, whenever you are.
Yep, let's get out of here, and I'll go watch Monday Night Raw.
Go watch Monday Night Raw. Well, do you have any final thoughts or anything?
No, I'm good to go. Again, we're going to do EC next Monday, ECW, and greatest, craziest, just memorable managers.
yeah, and I can go back a little further on that one too.
Oh yeah.
I can hit some Dick the Bruiser stuff and
Oh yeah.
the Grand Wizard and some of those guys and
Eddie Creechman.
and
Was there a couple different Creechmans, or was they the same? I remember Saul Creechman. I remember Eddie Creechman.
well, Saul Creechman is Scott Romer.
Okay.
But
So
Eddie
was
Creechman,
the original.
yeah, and that's probably how the name come about, the Creechman name. I'm guessing.
I put some online. Somebody posted. I don't know if you've seen it. I shared it. It was in Texas. I forget what state. Now it was
In Texas, though. If it was in Texas, right?
Yeah, I mean, I said state. I mean, I forget. I meant what city. Sorry about that. But yeah, it'd be in Texas. If it's in Texas, yeah. Again, I told you I'm old. Anyway,
That's right. I've had a long weekend. We've been
had-
going since Friday, so trust me, I know all about it.
the main event was Andre the Giant against the original Sheik. It was 1979, if I remember right, and it was like a Super Bowl of wrestling. It was called something like that, and that was the main event. And I also had the Von Erichs, two of the Von Erichs against I forget what tag team. I think it was against the Funk Brothers. The Funk Brothers against Kevin and David. I think it was 79.
I have a feeling it had to be a while back because Andre's been gone 30 years. I think I have seen that.
Okay. May have been San Antonio, but I can't remember. But I shared it. Somebody posted it, and I shared it. Because I like old stuff like that.
Well, yeah, especially when you got names like that on it.
Yeah. Well, that just, I'm sure, I know they wrestled each other probably many times, but I never had seen before the Sheik and Andre.
You know, Bruiser brought Andre in a few times in the Indy. Took on Ox Baker, and I thought it was, it looks like Baron Von Raschke, but it's like Baron Von Crump. They kind of had the same look.
Have you ever seen Ox Baker?
I met Ox Baker. Nice man. Basher brought him in one time.
He was in a
The
movie.
one time I remembered.
What was that movie he was in?
I like to hurt people.
Baker was in a movie, a big movie with Kurt Russell. Something. Of course, maybe somebody out there can help me.
Not me.
But he was in there. But his big move was the heart punch.
Heart punch. And he was like 6'8", 6'9". He's a big man.
I think he was.
I met him. He was a very nice fella.
If I remember right, I think he came from football. I think he came from the NFL.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. He was
I
huge.
remember
So. Basher had had a limo, and he had an autograph signing at the Kmart on Washington Street, right off the interstate. Pulled up there in the limo. They've been to Wendy's. It was funny because they get out there, all throw the Wendy's trash, the garbage. And he had an autograph signing at Kmart there on Washington Street. Me and my son went down and seen him. Had a cookbook. I have his cookbook here somewhere.
Escape from New York. Escape from New York was the movie with Kurt Russell, and one of the big main heels in that movie was Ox Baker.
Well, let me look that up. Have you ever heard of I Like to Hurt People? It wasn't really a movie though. It was just kind of a bunch of.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I don't remember. I kind of remember.
Escape from New York.
Yep.
Is that like a B movie? I would imagine.
I actually think it did pretty well at the box office.
It's not one you'll see on like Mystery Science Theater 3000 or something.
No, it was on. Back in the day, it was on HBO, and
all right, I'll have to look that up.
I actually think I can't remember if I went to the theaters or I seen it on HBO. I may have went to the theaters with your Uncle Richard. Me and him used to go.
What year are you looking at?
Ooh.
Was you a kid or young man? Or do you have?
I was young. I would say it was. I'm gonna give you a kind of a long range. I'm gonna say 78 to 83.
Okay. I'll have to look that up.
And it could have been 85, but it's either late 70s or early 80s. I think. Of course, again, I'm old. Well, you'll look it up. It'll be 1990.
I'm old.
I'll tell you a story about Ox Baker. See, they brought him in, and Basher was still running shows at the Ramada Inn, so they did TV for the cable company. Well, actually, it was for TV for Channel 4, and they had a Whitney Spears. Is that name familiar to you guys? Whitney Spears?
Whitney Spears?
Whitney Spears. It was a guy dressed as a girl.
It's supposed to be like Britney Spears.
Yeah, he came out with that sound. And Ox Baker's talking to Randy Clemmy because they're doing commentary, and he's like, "What am I watching here? Is that girl really wrestling that guy?" And then Randy had to say, "No, that's the first time they actually said that, he's a cross-dresser." They always kept that secret.
Yeah.
But to keep Ox from freaking out that here's this man, because he, Ox Baker's old school.
Old school.
You just don't do that. And he had to, while they were on air do some damage control to keep things from getting bad. Basically, had to explain to him what was going on. So
I imagine it'd been the same thing if you'd had Bruiser on there.
So yeah, I have that on tape somewhere. Again, VHS. If I could get to all those and get with D Rose, because D Rose does VHS to DVD, then I'll get some of that research, because I got a lot of WCW stuff from when it was on TV, and it's just buried right now. But
all right, well, everybody, we'll get out of here for tonight, and everybody have a good night.
Yeah, we'll be back next Monday at 6:30. Don't forget Wednesday, Tommy Gage at 6:30, and then on Thursday, Blake Money Wright at 6:30.
he was at Emerge on Saturday too, I was told. I don't know who he took on. I mean, I had pictures because Roger sent them to me. I don't remember who he wrestled, but he stole the show, or his portion of the show anyway. So.
And then on Saturday, we'll be in Shelbyville, Indiana for New Era. Bell times at 7 p.m. But please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays Network. Like and follow on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. I think we're like 5 followers from being over 1,000 on Facebook. So hit that like and follow button. And then don't forget, tonight we got our sports show, GSR Gonzo Sports Room at 11. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next Monday.